In the University of Nebraska-Lincoln entomology collection in Lincoln, I opened a bound research volume from a back shelf. It had not moved in years. Dust lifted off the spine. The pages felt dry. The paper crackled when I turned it. Inside was a 1998 paper by USDA entomologist Peter Landolt. I sat down under the archive light. I read one page. Then I found the line. These chemicals do not attract honeybees. 7 words. That was it. No hype, no sales pitch, no headline. Just a sentence buried in an entomology paper that should have changed how you handle Yellowjackets forever. Because if that sentence is true, then the whole problem looks different. You stop asking how hard you can spray. You start asking what the insect can smell. You stop thinking force. You start thinking direction. That is where the trap closes. Yellowjackets ruin real things. They do not just annoy. They own hive entrances. They strip protein from grills. They claim dumpsters, orchards, rafters, and feed sheds. Late in the season, they turn mean because the colony is starving for the next hour, not the next month. So, when I found a document saying the target insect could be drawn in without drawing honeybees in, I kept reading. Slowly, carefully, like I was holding evidence. That document was published 28 years ago. You have never heard of it. That is not an accident. Because once you understand what those 7 words mean, a whole aisle of foaming cans starts looking different. Less like progress. More like packaging. The old answer was not bigger poison. It was sharper targeting, better placement, cleaner biology, old knowledge, filed away. The paper was plain. That made it worse. No drama, no manifesto. Just species names, trap counts, and the kind of sentence that ruins a profitable story. Vespula germanica, Vespula pennsylvanica, heptyl butyrate, acetic acid, honeybees not attracted. Nothing mystical, nothing exotic, just a better way to intercept an insect that follows odor the way water follows slope. Then the pattern widened. The same principle surfaced again in extension reports, USDA trap work, and apiary guidance written for bee yards under attack. Separate the long-range odor from the kill chamber. Keep the traps low. Keep them away from the hive line. Let the Yellowjackets do what they always do. Follow the wrong smell. Enter the wrong place. Never come back. What that document describes is still working today, in the same communities where practical knowledge never stopped mattering. The Amish never needed anyone's permission to build what made sense. So here is the promise. You can cut Yellowjacket pressure across an 1,100-foot foraging zone without coating your yard in broadcast insecticide. You can do it for $86 to $142 in materials. And yes, this works even if you live in a city. It works if your house was built 50 years ago. It works if you have never done this before. Stay with me. Because what I found in Lancaster County uses the same physics the Romans used. They used it to protect hives from raiders nearly 1,900 years ago. The science is brutally simple. Yellowjackets do not drift through your yard at random. They track gradients, odor, heat, scarcity, ground-level access. Oregon State University Extension says Yellowjackets typically forage within 1,100 feet of the nest site. The same guidance says heptyl butyrate is a highly effective Yellowjacket attractant and does not attract honeybees. That is the whole door opening. Not everything that smells sweet or strong is equal. Species matter. Think about a car radiator. Coolant carries heat. Airflow sheds it. One function pulls, one function releases. Mix the jobs badly and the system fails. The same principle shows up in Yellowjacket control. One odor gets workers into the area. Another closes the distance and commits them to entry. When those signals are kept in the right places, the trap behaves like a map. When they are blended into one wet mess, the map disappears. USDA and university trap studies prove it. In the 2017 journal Insects, researchers working on western yellowjackets tested heptylbutyrate with chicken extract. When those attractants were partitioned correctly, the traps caught 19.3 yellowjackets in 3 hours. When the same attractants were mixed inside one trap, capture crashed to 1.5. Same species, same site, same 3-hour window. That is your equivalent coefficient of performance. You get 19.3 units of removal for one properly built trap cycle versus 1.5 for the sloppy version. Penn State Extension gives you the behavior underneath the numbers. Yellowjackets often nest underground. They work low. They become more defensive in late summer when food grows scarce. That is why this method feels unfair once you see it work. You are not chasing every wasp you can spot. You are intercepting a route to protein, a route to sugar, a route back to a hidden nest. That gap represents a massive market in sprays, service, panic, and seasonal replacement every year, and that is why you have never heard of this. There is another part most people miss. Late-season yellowjackets are not hunting the way spring queens hunt. A queen in spring wants fuel and nesting opportunity. A stressed worker in August wants fast calories and protein for brood. That changes bait choice, it changes trap height, it changes timing. Oregon State points out that trapping queens in spring can matter. One queen can produce up to 5,000 workers at colony peak. That is not a small margin. That is a population curve. It also explains why random homemade traps fail. A trap built for fruit flies catches bees. A trap built for soda thieves misses protein-hungry workers. A trap hung at eye level looks active to you and useless to the insect. Placement is the mechanism. Scent is the mechanism. Separation is the mechanism. Not because it is complicated, because it is exact. I saw the living proof in Strasburg, in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. The morning was already warm. The bee yard still felt cool. No motor noise, no pressure washer, no sharp aerosol smell, just clover, damp boards, wax, and that soft wing hum you only hear when a colony is working instead of fighting. I stood there for 10 full minutes, looking for the usual late summer frenzy. It was not there. That was the moment. Eli, the beekeeper I was visiting, never pointed at the hives first. He pointed past them. His traps were low, farther out. He told me his father and grandfather had done the same thing for 4 generations. You never invite them to the front door, he said. Then he paced the distance with his boots, away from the entrances, away from the landing boards. He was teaching geometry, not fear. The silence was the giveaway. No frantic guard bees, no circling robbers, no workers colliding at the hive mouth. I could hear chickens 2 fields over. I could hear a wagon chain hit wood. I could hear my own sleeve when I moved. That is what working control sounds like. Not a chemical war, a missing problem. Eli said the habit came down through German-speaking families. They carried beecraft out of the Palatinate, through Switzerland and Alsace, into Pennsylvania farm life. They kept what worked. They dropped what did not. That knowledge never disappeared. It was filed away. It was waiting. A 1980 USDA history of beekeeping in the United States confirms the timeline. German-speaking bee culture was established in Pennsylvania long before aerosol pest control existed. A 2023 extension guide confirms the behavior those families were exploiting the whole time. Low flight, late-season aggression, protein hunger, trap distance matters. The old people did not need a journal to notice it. They needed eyes. Go back far enough and the pattern gets older than any brand on a store shelf. In the Roman world, writers like Aelian listed wasps among the enemies of bees. Roman keepers used bark, wicker, and smoke because they understood that insects can be steered before they are killed. In Eva Crane's work on Roman beekeeping, you can still see the mindset. Watch the hive, read the season, move the threat away from the honey. In ancient China, bees and wasps shared the broad category of feng in early writing. Practical keepers learned by behavior long before modern entomology gave them labels. In Egypt, clay hives moved with the Nile, and honey itself was used as an attractant because scent controlled where insects gathered. Different river, different empire, same law. Odor moves insects, placement shapes outcomes. Every civilization that mastered heat, insects, and stored sweetness arrived at the same answer independently. The Amish never forgot. They carried it from the Palatinate to Pennsylvania about 280 years ago. They kept building it because it worked. They never needed anyone's permission to do what made sense. Now the part that should make you angry. In 1949, Robert Abplanalp built the mass-produced aerosol valve at Precision Valve and made the modern spray can economically irresistible. That was not a small engineering tweak. It changed retail chemistry. It made pressurized control portable, cheap, and repeatable. Then, in 1956, Sam Johnson's team at SC Johnson launched Raid. It was the first water-based aerosol insecticide the company could market broadly inside and outside the home. A reusable trap threatened every future can. The suppression did not need one villain in a dark room. It needed structure. In 1947, the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act locked pest control into a label-governed market. Approved delivery systems gained shelf space, trust, and liability cover. Unbranded fieldcraft did not. Decades later, Oregon State University Extension could still write a sentence that tells the whole story. Only one insecticide is approved for Yellowjacket bait traps, and using other chemicals violates pesticide law. There it is. One sentence, one pipeline, one compliant way to sell control. Then came the allies. Precision Valve benefited whenever aerosol packaging won the argument. SC Johnson and later household pesticide brands benefited whenever fear ended in another can. Trade groups benefited whenever regulations favored labeled, packaged, repeat sale control over field-built behavior control. The Chemical Specialties Manufacturers Association existed to defend those channels. Its later form, the Household and Commercial Products Association, kept doing the same kind of defense. Media benefited too. A dramatic spray makes a better ad than a quiet perimeter trap. Action sells, restraint does not. An entire field of practical insect behavior knowledge disappeared from household habit, store aisles, and common memory. Not because it failed, because it was not profitable. And the modern continuation is not subtle. In 2022, the Household and Commercial Products Association reported $610,465 in federal lobbying spending. In 2023, CropLife America continued lobbying on pesticide legislation that included pollinator-related measures. The financial motive is plain: defend the licensed product channel, defend the recurring sale, defend the shelf. A backyard method that uses scent, geometry, and patience does not create enough replacement cycles. It does not build enough service contracts. It does not move enough steel cans through enough registers. The pest control products market in America is worth $4.60 billion a year. Every alternative installed, every bottle maintained, every hive protected without a can is a unit of product that never gets sold. Now, if you already own a house and you're thinking this only applies to people with land, stay with me, because this next part is specifically for you. You don't need to buy equipment. You need a yard, a drill, a bottle, a weekend. Start with the pressure line. Walk 20 to 30 feet away from what you are protecting. If you keep bees, measure at least 20 feet from the hive entrance. If you are defending a porch, coop, grill area, rabbit shed, or trash pad, build a loose perimeter. Do not make a tight cluster. I like traps spaced 30 to 40 feet apart. I hang them 14 to 18 inches above ground. That matches how Yellowjackets work low and investigate ground-level scent. Build the body out of a 2-liter HDPE bottle or a 1-gallon translucent jug with a polypropylene lid. Drill 3 entry holes around the shoulder. Make each hole 3/8 of an inch wide. Set a bait cup 2 inches deep inside the bottom. Use stainless wire or zip ties for the hanger. Then run a strip of muslin cotton, rayon wick, or another absorbent strip through a separate cap above the bait cup. The top scent and the lower bait must stay physically separated. That separation step is not optional. Mixing the lure and the bait in one wet chamber causes entry failure. For the long-range pull, load the upper wick with a measured heptyl butyrate lure. For the close-range commit signal, use chicken extract, tuna water, or another protein bait in the lower cup. Add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Add 1 drop of unscented dish soap. The vinegar helps push honeybees away from the trap profile. The soap breaks surface tension so captures stay captures. This is not decorative chemistry, it is trap engineering. Do not sweeten the chamber near active bee yards. That is where people get sloppy. Honeybees chase sugar. Yellowjackets under late-season pressure chase protein first. If you are nowhere near pollinators, you can experiment with seasonal sugar draws. If you are protecting bees, stay disciplined. Nobody told you. Not your builder, not your contractor, not the man who sold you a pressurized shortcut. On a small lot, hang 6 traps if the pressure is heavy. On a 60-foot by 90-foot yard, 4 traps usually do the job. In a bee yard with 6 to 12 colonies, I prefer 6 to 8 traps. Place them on the outside lanes, not inside the colony's flight paths. If your property has a fence line, fruit drop, dog feeding area, or compost edge, prioritize those corridors first. That is where the odor map thickens. Cost matters. Each bottle body costs almost nothing if you save it. New containers, wire, cups, lids, and wicks usually run $7 to $14 per trap. Each lure cycle runs $9 to $18. A full 6-trap setup lands between $86 and $142. Even an 8-trap ring stays under $190 unless you buy everything new and wastefully. Compare that with a few bad weekends of disposable spray cans, and you can feel the scam in your hand. Refresh the protein every 3 to 4 days when weather sits above 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Replace the wick charge every 10 to 14 days. Keep the entry holes dry. Rinse the body when the catch line reaches 1/3 full. Rehang the trap at the same height. Check the perimeter once a week in peak season. In spring, once every 2 weeks is enough. One Saturday morning builds the system. 40 minutes resets it after that. If you want more range, do not make one huge trap. Make more small traps. A single oversized chamber turns sour, gets sloppy, and loses directional scent. 6 small stations beat 1 giant bucket almost every time. Keep each station simple. Keep each station dry at the entry. Keep each station low. Use the same spacing every season. Insects learn routes, so should you. On a 95-degree day in late August, a correctly spaced perimeter can pull enough workers off a hive line. It can also clear a feed area or patio before sunset. In a heavy year, you may still see stragglers. You will not see the same swarm line. That is the difference. Your conventional wasp spray costs $6 to $11 a can. In a bad season, that becomes $18 to $44 a month. It handles one visible cluster at a time and ends as landfill. This costs $86 to $142 total. The bottles last 5 to 7 years. Your choice. There is a reason the half-mile claim sounds impossible at first. You are not sterilizing half a mile. You are influencing a foraging radius. Oregon State puts typical foraging at 1,100 feet. That is a little over 1/5 of a mile in every direction from a nest. When several nests overlap around one property, the pressure feels much larger than the map. Break enough worker routes and the yard changes fast. That is why this method feels bigger than the bottles look. Timing matters as much as chemistry. In spring, I want the first trap ring out before the weather settles. A trapped queen in April is not one dead insect. It is a colony erased before the first brood surge. In late July, I shift attention to workers and protein pressure. In September, I watch fruit drop, feed pans, and trash lids like a hawk. Same tool, different season, different target, same physics. Eli was not the only one who spoke that way. His neighbor Samuel told me he learned the same spacing from his mother Lydia, not from a catalog. She kept one trap near the compost lane and another near the chicken scraps. Never at the hive mouth, never on the porch rail. Always out where the wrong smell could win before the bees ever noticed. That is how practical knowledge survives. Quietly, in placement, in habit, in memory. And if you want proof that packaging won the culture war, look at what most homeowners are taught to notice. A visible nest, a visible swarm, a visible can. Spray gives you a performance. It hisses, it foams, it makes you feel active. A perimeter trap gives you subtraction, fewer passes, less pressure, a quieter lunch table, a calmer hive entrance. One looks dramatic, the other works. That is why one fills shelves and the other stays local. If you want to tighten the system even further, clean the attractor lanes, rinse drink cans, move pet food indoors before dusk, pick windfall fruit every evening, scrape grill grease, seal trash lids. A trap works best when it is the strongest protein signal left outside. That is why old farmyards beat suburban decks at this game. They manage scent like inventory. Every smell has a job. Every smell points somewhere. You can even map your pressure with a notebook. Mark where the first workers appear at 8 a.m. Mark where they thicken at noon. Mark where they vanish after bait refresh. Do that for 7 days and your yard stops being mysterious. It becomes a route diagram. That is how you start thinking like the people who figured this out before advertising taught everyone to think like shoppers. Everything I've covered across this channel, root cellar airflow, lime wash wall sealing, gravity-fed water lines, I've put it all in one place. Step by step, season by season, room by room, in the order families actually use it. The link is in the description. But stay here, because what Eli built beside those hives is the part nobody is talking about yet. What he understood was identity. You are not trying to kill every flying thing in your yard. You are trying to read the pattern better than the insect does. Attention beats panic. Placement beats spectacle. The Romans did not read this in a textbook. They figured it out the way all real knowledge gets discovered, by paying attention to what the animal was already doing. The Amish did the same. So can you. There is dignity in that kind of control. You are not borrowing expertise from a label. You are recovering it from observation. Once you see a pressure line move because you moved a scent source, you cannot unsee it. The yard stops feeling chaotic. The hive line stops feeling cursed. You stop reacting to every insect in the air. You start shaping what comes near you. That is self-reliance in its cleanest form. If you're the kind of person who believes real knowledge was quietly pushed aside, you already know what to do. It was done to protect someone else's profit. Hit subscribe, not for me, for what comes next, because this is not a channel. This is a quiet movement of people who have decided they're done being sold what they already own. I want to hear from you. Drop your state, your worst late summer Yellowjacket problem, and whether bees, trash, fruit, livestock, or feed are drawing them in. Tell me your monthly spray bill if you have one. Tell me what your grandfather used if he kept bees. I read every single one. And your answers decide what we cover next. Next week, I'm going to show you what a 1998 USDA paper and a 2010 USDA trap rollout reveal. They show how to pull hornets and paper wasps with two separated scent channels. The technique uses nothing but a wick, a bait cup, and the right odor map. And the paper from 1998 proves Peter Landolt knew selective trapping worked 28 years before most homeowners heard a word about it. You are not going to want to miss that one.